Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands. I'm glad you could join me for this one. This is going to be the Toxic Avenger movie marathon. So watching all 4 Toxic movies. I thought this would be a good time to break out the Toxic Avenger box set that I bought from HorrorCon. And if this one doesn't sound fun enough, I've got Steve from 80's Film Fan joining me for this one. So 80's Film Fan doesn't have an active channel on YouTube anymore, but for those of you that have been in the community for a while, you might remember 80's Film Fan. He had a really cool channel, used to show his update videos and showed off his movie shelves and things like that. Really good guy. And we've become friends over YouTube and have sort of frequent movie nights and things like that. So I'm going to get him over for this one, and we'll do a video together watching these movies. So yeah, great to have him over for this rather toxic marathon. So he's just getting into town now. I'm going to go and pick him up, and we'll get straight back to you for the Toxic Avenger movie marathon. Okay guys, we've got Toxic Avenger loaded up and ready to go. We've got Steve with us, 80's Film Fan, and we've got a bit of breakfast as well. So yeah. Toxic Avenger and McDonald's breakfast, awesome. So Toxic Avenger, what do you think of?
Absolutely love the first one. I'll save my thoughts on the others to the end, but the first one, I absolutely love it.
Okay.
This and Class of Newcomb High are by far my favourite trauma films.
Okay, awesome.
And I honestly can't pick between the two. I think it is tough for me to pick Class of Newcomb High or Toxic Avenger.
Okay.
I absolutely love the Dickies tune for Toxic Avenger as well.
It's got, good music.
Yeah. Just brilliant. Yeah, it's trauma at its best, I think.
Yeah.
Trauma in the 80s were definitely at their peak.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the first one. I've said it before, I'm all about Toxic Avenger Part 2, which we'll get on to later. But yeah, it'd be fun to watch Toxic Avenger again and remind myself of the craziness of this one. Because yeah, like you said, trauma in the 80s is awesome. So yeah, we're going to have some breakfast. We'll start Toxic Avenger and we'll come back to you later and let you know what we think. So about 20 minutes into Toxic Avenger, and we're both struck by how like the level of extreme violence mixed with just cartoonish slapstick.
Yeah.
It really is a unique style that Trauma had back in the day.
Yeah, the characters are very much caricatures.
Yeah.
Like Cigar Face.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger will be there.
Okay guys, that is the first Toxic Avenger done. Gosh, that is incredible.
Yeah.
What an awesome movie.
Definitely my favourite of the 4, without a shadow of a doubt.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. Film. It's a live action cartoon.
It is the closest you will come to a real life cartoon.
Ultra violent though. Ultra violent.
Yeah.
But even the violence is cartoonish.
Even
though it's really gory and
yeah.
The stuff that happens in this, that if it was not tongue-in-cheek, would make this probably like video nasty. Now.
Yeah, there's some nasty things that go on in this film, but then you're not too far away from like just some really juvenile craziness.
It's the tone that it's done in. It makes it feel cartoony.
Yeah, very unique, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good to rewatch the first Toxic Avenger. So yeah, we'll move on to the second one. Pretty soon.
Yeah, gotta say, second one, my feelings of it before going into it, and I'll see how I feel. I think watching it with somebody else is going to help.
Yeah, okay.
But I've never really taken to any of the sequels. I don't know why. I just don't like them like the first one, but I'm hoping going into them with somebody else who likes similar things, like-minded, it might give me a different experience, because sometimes I think some films are better watched with other people.
Okay. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if we can turn Steve on to Toxic Avenger Part 2 then. Alright guys, we're ready for the Toxic Avenger Part 2. My favourite of the series, my favourite trauma film, one of my favourite movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah, Toxic
Wow.
Avenger Part 2.
One of your favourites of all time?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the first trauma film I ever saw. I've said it before on my channel, but
Yeah.
came across it on video and bought it, and kind of as a kid just knew I was getting something different. And again, but what we just talked about, there was that promise of ultra violence and cartoonishness, and as a kid, this just blew me away.
I think definitely with movies, when you saw it and how you saw it and the situation you saw it has a big impact on how you feel about a film.
Yeah.
I'd already seen the first one and felt like that about the first one almost.
Yeah.
Not one of my favourites, I wouldn't say, but I was like besotted. I was like, I'd never seen anything like it. It was my first ever trauma experience. And my first experience of something that was so grotesque and balmy and purposefully offensive. I hadn't seen anything like that. I'd never seen any Frank Henenlotter, for example, before I saw the Toxic Avenger. Really, that was my gateway to things like that as well. And Killer Clowns from Outer Space and all the weird, wacky stuff. But this, I don't know why. But I'm hoping. This is definitely my second favourite Toxic Avenger movie.
Okay. It's a lot more slapstick than the first one, but for me it's just like nostalgia overload. Like everything about it just takes me back to being a kid and discovering this movie. So hopefully you'll get some enjoyment.
I hope so.
I'm really looking forward to this one. So
I'm looking forward to giving it another go.
So we're going to jump into Toxic Avenger Part 2 and we'll let you know what we think along the way and come back to you guys soon. Absolutely awesome intro. So after watching this one straight after the first one, you really do see how sillier they drop the brutal violence and it's more.
It's just full out cartoon.
It is, yeah. I've never watched them back to back. It's interesting to see that change in tone. Still very enjoyable, but it's not the ultra violence.
Less grindhousey.
Definitely.
More cartoon.
Yeah. Okay. Toxic Avenger Part 2.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more this time actually. It's still the first one is my favourite. It's, as we were saying all the way through it, this is full on cartoon.
So silly.
Cartoon logic. People, a car explodes with people in it, and then it goes back to them and they're all alive. They've just got slightly charcoaled faces.
Yeah, flaming hair and things like that. Yeah,
it's a cartoon in live action form.
Yeah, it is an absolute cartoon. I can see why it spoke to me so much when I was a kid. But yeah, watching it again, it's very, very silly.
I wish I'd seen it as a kid.
Yeah, it's a good one to watch. I think I will concede that the first one is a much better film. This almost made the first one look like a serious film in parts. The first one is the better put together film, but this one for me just has that place, that like nostalgia, which I don't know, I just really like revisiting it. But it was certainly fun to revisit Part 2.
And cool to see Michael Jai White in it as well.
Never noticed.
His first movie.
Doing his kung fu action and kung fu kicks. So it was good. So I think we're going to go and stretch our legs for a bit.
Go for a
bit of a walk, break the day up, and then we'll come back with Toxic Avenger Part 3. Okay, so we've come out for a quick walk just to stretch our legs, break up the day a little bit. We both like getting out and about and being in the outdoors. So we just thought we'd break up the movie marathon with a little walk around one of my local areas. I do a few videos out here, as you might recognise. But it's really going well so far.
Yeah,
enjoying
definitely.
it.
I'm looking forward to seeing how I feel about part 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, part 3 I've not seen for a long time.
I think it sort of revs you up gradually to complete bonkerness. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah, number 4 is pretty out there. So yeah. So we're just gonna go for a quick walk, stretch our legs, and then we'll come back to you with Toxic Avenger Part 3. Right, okay, we're back. I'm ready to watch Toxic Avenger Part 3. So this will be an interesting one for me. I've not watched this one for years.
I can't really remember anything about part 3 or 4, if I'm
Okay.
honest.
Yeah, I watched this a couple of times as a kid, and as you know, I was all about part 2. So I was kind of like it's not part 2, and sort of dismissed this one, which is strange because it is like filmed back to back with part 2. It's not too different.
That's interesting as well, because that's how I've kind of been with part 2, 3 and 4, because of how I felt about part 1.
Yeah.
Looking at this now, I do actually remember this. I watched all of them probably about a year ago in a row, but I must admit by the time I got to 3 and 4, I wasn't really watching them.
Yeah.
So
This should be a fun one. So yeah, Toxic Avenger Part 3. We'll get this one on and we'll come back to you soon.
feel guilty of the eyes.
Yeah. Right. Toxic Avenger Part 3. So, I enjoyed that. I liked it a lot more than what I did as a kid.
Yeah.
Very silly. Another very silly film, but I used to just take your brain out and enjoy it. It's very similar to the second one, isn't it?
It's not a good movie for me. It's not a bad one either, though. It does, like you say, exactly what it's intending to do. It is just brainless fun.
Yeah.
I do think they milk certain bits, like that ending went on for ages.
It did, actually, yeah.
They don't know. I think the problem with trauma sometimes is they milk a joke a bit too much.
Yeah.
And they can milk it to the point of nauseum almost sometimes.
Yeah, it did go on for a while. I did like the devil creature in it is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I like him. And the scene which I forgot about where Toxic Avenger melts.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Great practical effect melting
Very
scene.
good.
And then the scene in the video store. We get a video store scene, which is awesome.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, they machine gun a lot of the tapes, which is, for collectors like us, it's like, But definitely fun to revisit part 3. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I enjoyed it slightly more than when I was a kid.
I've got to say, I'm warming up to these sequels a little bit.
Yeah.
I've struggled to get through them in the past. I don't hate them, but I struggle to keep my attention on them.
Okay.
And I think it's because for me, they go a little bit too silly.
Yeah, they do. They are silly. But we'll be turning the craziness up to 11 next with part 4.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how I feel about it, because wasn't this like a little bit after the other two? Wasn't there a break?
2000. So, a bit of a gap.
So this is quite a modern Toxic Avenger movie.
Yeah. Okay. So So we'll be back soon with Citizen Toxic Avenger Part 4. Alright guys, last one for the day. Part 4, Citizen Toxic. I'm trying to think how long it's been since I've watched this one. It's been a long time, several years. So I'll be good to revisit this one.
I can't remember anything about this one at all.
All I can remember from this one is that crazy, there's some really odd moments in this one, but the bit when there's a procession of really weird superheroes like Dolphin Man and a few other people, so...
there might be, I do remember, isn't Sergeant Kabuki Man in this?
He pops up in this as well, So anyway, we'll get this on and check this one out again, and let you know what we think of Toxic Avenger Part 4. Right. That is Toxic Avenger Part 4. I don't quite know what to say.
I did not like that. I did not enjoy that.
I remember it being crazy, like I said, but wow,
Yeah.
that movie is insane.
Yeah, almost like to the point of not being enjoyable. It just feels like it's trying so hard to be offensive and it, like you said when we were talking about it at the beginning and some of the jokes it makes, it doesn't distinguish
everyone.
It pokes fun at everybody. But yeah, I did not like that at all.
You struggled with that, didn't you?
I would have been quite happy to have an hour and a half nap in that. It genuinely, I found it so ridiculous it was boring, if that makes sense.
Okay. It got a laugh out of me, I will say. There was the odd bit made me laugh. It's got some good gore in it, but it's so un-PC. Yeah, like we were saying, I'm surprised it's still around, like that nobody's tried to bring it down because it's pretty bad in places.
Definitely, in this day and age, I'm surprised that if certain groups haven't got hold of it and tried to cancel it, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty on the knuckle, this one.
Yeah. I mean, I can deal with all of that. It's I like you said, it didn't discriminate. It poked fun at everybody.
Everyone. It was, like we said that the previous film for like real life cartoons.
Yeah.
This is like as close to like real life South Park as you can get.
Yeah.
For anyone that's watched South Park, it's kind of that level of ridiculous and just un-PC-ness, but insane film.
It's like if a real life cartoon did acid and
and just went down the gross out.
Yeah.
Not like the violence of the first one or the silliness of the other two. It's like gross out craziness.
Yeah, and who was the director we saw in it again?
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn.
There's a part from James Gunn in it, especially with all the controversies around it recently. I bet he's praying nobody reminds, because most people that were kicking off about James Gunn probably have never seen this, and I bet he's praying that nobody does.
I would imagine so. Yes. Yeah. Not a great look from him in this.
No,
one.
definitely not. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But yeah, it's not for me.
Okay. So yeah, that's all 4 Toxic films.
Yeah, all done.
So,
I've got to say, this gave me a new appreciation for part 2 and 3.
Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. But part 1's still your favourite?
Part 1's definitely still my favourite.
Yeah,
part 1
good.
is one of my regular watches.
Yeah, it is good. I think it's easily the best of the 4. It actually does a few things really well, and it's the best put together out of all of them.
I think it knows when to stop as well.
Yeah.
I think this one, it pushes things like, and then pushes it a bit more, and it's like, can we push it a bit more? Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's push it even further.
Yeah, it's something, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was us watching all 4 Toxic Avenger movies. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thank you for joining me, mate.
Yeah,
it's been
no
great
worries.
having you here. Let us know, guys, what you think of these movies, which ones you like, and if you're a Toxic fan. So, yeah, thank you again, Steve. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.